yesterday.
Yeah,
Dylan, back to you.
Thank you, Janet. With us now, Texas Republican Congressman Michael McCaul. Congressman McCaul, member of the House Committee on Homeland Security, already released a statement of sympathy for the victims at Fort Hood, is calling for a domestic and overseas probe into the alleged gunman, Major Hassan. Representative, welcome. Where would you begin the investigation?
Well, first, my thoughts and prayers go to the victims and their families, but there's going to be a very full investigation into this matter. I'm interested in his communications. They're scrubbing, the FBI is scrubbing his computers probably as we speak, but who he was talking to in the months prior to this tragic event. We do know that he had posted some sites on the internet that talked about suicide bombing. One piece of evidence I just recently got that as he was killing his victims, he was yelling out Ali Akhtar, which means God is great. And in the jihadist world, that's a very well-known statement made by jihadists. And so that kind of stuff is very disturbing. We're getting more and more information about this individual. And I think as we look at his communications more intensely, we're going to find out the motivation behind it.
Corey Saylor, Legislative Director for the Council on American Islamic Relations, also with us, as is Clint Van Zandt, FBI profiler, author of Facing Down Evil. Corey, it's very easy, considering sort of the history of the relations between our country and some nations and some individuals, really, of a Muslim faith, there's a very quick response or higher levels of anxiety, if for no reason other than because of the lesser familiarity. Is it appropriate to be looking at any sort of religious signals in a situation like this, when you're clearly dealing with an American soldier born in America who enlisted again right out of high school?
I think that it's really important that we first of all express our condolences to the victims of this tragedy and wish those who are injured that they get better quickly. Right now, investigators need to do their jobs. They need to look at everything. And the important thing is that we all show patience and sobriety in waiting for that investigation. And let's hear what their conclusions are.
Yep. Clint Van Zandt, it's very easy for people to play pop psychiatrist or pop psychologist in a situation like that. This, again, fear of war abstractly, fear of going into combat abstractly would make anybody anxious, let alone working for as long as this man did as an Army psychiatrist, counseling men who lived and continue to live through war. Can you give us any indications, any commonalities of what happens when you're exposed to trauma like that repeatedly?
Well, number one, there's going to be hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of men and women who have gone through this all the time. Dr. Hassan was not being sent in as a ground troop. He was being sent in to help care for those psychologically injured during the course of war, just like he had treated them in the States. And Dylan, this was a contract that he had with the U.S. government. You and I and all the taxpayers agreed to pay his way through medical school with the understanding that he would stay in the military and that he would perform his duty, whatever the military said that was. So here it appears we have a man who may have been in conflict between his duty to his country and his duty to his religion, and he apparently sided with one as opposed to the other, made the decision he was not going to go to Iraq. He was not going to be part of any action that saw the lives of Muslims taken in a combat situation, and he was going to violate the terms of the agreement that he had with this government.
Representative, for the families today, what is the U.S. government, what is Fort Hood providing in the way of counseling and again, caretaking, psychological and otherwise, for family members and others affected by this over the past 24 hours?
Well, the military is providing, I think, excellent counseling in the situation. They have a medical team in place to help take care not only the wounded, but also the families who are obviously deeply impacted by this tragic event. And you know, as a federal prosecutor, I think getting to your previous question, we got to see what the evidence and the facts are in this case. And we do know that he had a poor performance rating at Walter Reed. We know he was disturbed. We know that he didn't agree really with the mission in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I think, as Mr. Van Zandt pointed out, I think he was internally conflicted and that may have eventually caused him to snap in this situation.
Yeah. Representative, thank you so much. Corey Clinton, thank you as well. The president going to speak on the tragedy at Fort Hood as well as the unemployment.